Hey friends, it's the Solid Signal podcast for Memorial Day week, May 25th, 2015, and of course, I'd like to say thank you to all of those people who laid down their lives for the great thing that is the United States of America. But let's move on. I want to keep this a tight 5-minute podcast. The subject of this week's edition is summer viewing. It used to be that there wasn't anything good on in the summer, but there were reruns of things that maybe you missed. Of course, today we don't worry about that. We have DVRs and on demand. The television industry took a couple of years before it really began to respond to the fact that people do want to watch television in the summer almost as much as they do in the winter. I don't know. It just seems like the television industry thought that we were all on farms and we had to go out and harvest during the summer, and I never really quite understand that thinking since it's been going on for so many years. But the good news is, as I said, is that there have been some changes, and that means that there's a lot of good stuff out there to watch, no matter who or what you are. Of course, everyone talks about Orange is the New Black, which will be out on Netflix in June, and I'm personally looking forward to that. It's been a great show so far, and I really have enjoyed it. The great thing is it's available on Netflix, which means the cost of entry isn't that high. Unfortunately, some of the other shows out there that really are high quality do require a subscription to a premium channel, and that makes it a little bit harder. I've become a recent fan of Showtime's Happy-ish, which if you do have Showtime, it's definitely worth it. Not that I'm necessarily sure that a lot of other things on Showtime are, but this, if you're a Generation X type, is really going to appeal to you, I think. It's sort of take the idea of Don Draper and put him in an advertising agency in 2015 instead of 1965. It's bitter, it's sardonic, and I think that it will tickle your funny bone as much as it tickles mine. It's a good reason to stay home. I'm also pleased to see that NBC is picking up a little bit on the trend. They've produced a show called Aquarius, which admittedly does look like a bit of a Mad Men ripoff, but with a detective twist. But the good news is that they're going to be doing a little bit better job of making this available for streaming as opposed to simply on broadcast. It's a good step in the right direction. Speaking of Mad Men ripoffs, be sure to check out the 1 or 2 episodes of The Astronauts' Wives Club that will air on ABC before ABC realizes that nobody is going to watch it because it's probably not terribly good, and they cancel it. Perhaps at some point the entire series will also be sold to Netflix, Hulu, or one of the other outlets. It's great to find that we have so many choices, especially so many choices for binge watching, because there are days in the summer when you just want to stay inside. It's too hot, it's too humid, you just don't want to do something, and you want to sit and enjoy. Binge watching is really great for extreme weather, whether it's rain, snow, or extreme heat. And it's sort of a recent invention because there really wasn't the option to do it before. You'd have to go and rent the DVDs or what have you. But there's just something really satisfying about watching something over and over and over again, especially if it's a smart comedy that keeps you engaged, much like Netflix's Grace and Frankie, which I think baby boomers and Generation Xers will enjoy, starring the always hilarious Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda. What else can you say about Jane Fonda? As 2 women whose husbands have actually decided to fall in love with each other and get married. It's smart, it's sharp, it's funny, and it's available for streaming now on Netflix. Give yourself 6.5, 7 hours to enjoy it, and you certainly will. But you see, the point of this podcast is not necessarily to promote individual shows. After all, Solid Signal does not offer television shows and doesn't really offer a lot of content on its own other than what I generate. But the point is to show that there's a much bigger and better television landscape than there ever was, especially in the summer. So if you decide not to go out and do those summer activities that we have been waiting all year long for, there's still a whole lot to do. And it's even better to finally see that broadcast executives, cable and other pay TV companies have begun to realize this not a moment too soon.